Imagine being born into the most powerful family in a secretive nation. Your brother, the supreme leader. You've stood by him through global summits, nuclear threats, and even executions. You've been the face of your country. Then, suddenly, you vanish. 4 months, in early 2024, Kim Yo-jong, the princess of Pyongyang, disappeared. No speeches, no photographs, just silence. South Korean intelligence scrambled. Analysts speculated. Was she purged, under house arrest? Or something far worse? Today, she's back, promoted to an even more powerful position. Her disappearance raises questions North Korea doesn't want answered. Questions about loyalty and power. This is a story of Kim Yo-jong, the sister who runs North Korea from the shadows. Born in the late 1980s, she's the youngest child of Kim Jong-il and his third partner, Ko Young-hwae, a former dancer. But her childhood wasn't spent in Pyongyang's palaces. Like her brother, she was sent abroad to Bern, Switzerland. There, she studied under a false name, Pak Mi-hyung. Picture a young girl, maybe 10 years old, with fake documents. Classmates had no idea they were sitting next to the daughter of one of the world's most brutal dictators. Those years shaped her. She learned French and English. Seeing how the outside world lived, she formed an unbreakable bond with her brother, Kim Jong-un, who was there with her. Returning to North Korea, she continued her education at Kim Il-sung University, graduating in computer science. But her real education was just beginning. In 2008, her father, Kim Jong-il, suffered a stroke. Succession plans became urgent. Kim Yo-jong, still in her early 20s, was pulled into the inner circle. She reportedly played a key role in managing her father's secretariat and arranging her brother's succession. When Kim Jong-il died in 2011, there she was, standing behind her brother at the funeral. She was young, serious, and clearly important, but no one knew her name yet. That would change quickly. Kim Jong-un inherited power in 2011, bringing his sister with him. By 2014, her name appeared in state media. She was identified as a senior official, then appointed vice director of the propaganda and agitation department. In North Korea, propaganda isn't just slogans, it's crafting the cult of personality around the Kim family. She controlled what 25 million people saw, heard, and believed. She shaped her brother's public image. She understood that in North Korea, perception is power. She is one of the very few people Kim Jong-un can trust. But the world didn't truly meet Kim Yo-jong until 2018. That February, something unprecedented happened. North Korea sent a delegation to the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Leading that delegation, Kim Yo-jong. She became the first member of the ruling Kim dynasty to set foot in South Korea since the Korean War. Charming, poised, every detail scrutinized. She smiled for cameras, shook hands with the enemy. For a brief moment, she became the face of a new, more open North Korea. But behind that smile was something dangerous. The charm offensive didn't last. By 2019, diplomacy with the US collapsed after the Hanoi summit. Kim Yo-jong's tone shifted dramatically. She became North Korea's bad cop, her statements growing bitter. She derided South Korea as a faithful dog of the United States. She threatened to destroy the Inter-Korean Liaison Office. And in June 2020, North Korea actually did it. She mocked South Korea's capabilities. She threatened military action against the US, warning of high-profile provocations in response to an American carrier. During COVID-19, she blamed South Korea for spreading the virus via leaflets, threatening deadly retaliatory measures. August 2025 brought another confrontation. She furiously denied removing loudspeakers, dismissing South Korean claims. She rejected any possibility of renewed diplomacy with Washington. This is the Kim Yo-jong the world rarely sees. The enforcer, the hardliner, the woman who speaks for her brother when he chooses silence. Then came early 2024. Kim Yo-jong vanished again. 4 months, no public appearances, no statements. South Korean intelligence monitored closely. Analysts offered competing theories. Was she purged? In North Korea, that's always possible. Kim Jong-un executed his own uncle. No one in the Kim family is truly safe. Was she under house arrest? Perhaps for overstepping her bounds? or disagreeing with her brother on policy. Her story is a chilling reminder of the brutal realities of power within the world's most secretive dynasty. Was she pregnant? That was another theory, that she had stepped back from public life for personal reasons. Or was it something worse? In a regime where disappearances often mean death, no one could rule out the darkest possibilities. The silence stretched on months passed. The outside world watched and waited. Then, in February 2026, she reappeared, not just reappeared, but promoted. On February 23, 2026, during the 9th Congress of the Workers' Party of Korea, state media announced the news. Kim Yo-jong had been promoted to full department director of the party's Central Committee, previously vice department director. She was now one of 17 newly elected department directors of position experts, described as equivalent to ministerial rank. She was also reinstated as an alternate member of the Politburo, returning to a position she'd lost in 2021. The Korean Central News Agency didn't specify which department she would lead, but experts believe it's likely the propaganda department, where she served for years. Possibly a new role handling inter-Korean relations and external strategy. It's a step that is a clear show of Kim Jong-un's support and empowerment for her, said Lim Yo-chul. The timing is significant. This party congress, held once every 5 years, sets North Korea's policy direction for years to come. Thousands of party elites gathered in Pyongyang to hear Kim Jong-un's vision for the Futura full-scale progress phase. For the economy, a warning against dereliction of duty and ingrained maladies in the party. And amid all this, Kim Yo-jong's elevation sends a clear message. She remains one of the most powerful people in North Korea. But her reappearance raises an uncomfortable question. Where was she? North Korea will never tell us. The disappearance, whether for personal reasons, political reasons, or something else, entirely remains a mystery. And that's exactly how the regime wants it. So who is Kim Yo-jong really? She's believed to be in her late 30s now, young by global political standards, but seasoned by North Korean ones. She's married to Cho Sung, a university professor and son of a high-ranking official, and they reportedly have children, though almost nothing is known about them. She's one of the few people in North Korea with access to the outside world. She's traveled internationally. She's met with world leaders. She understands the global stage in ways most North Korean officials never will, and she's absolutely ruthless. Her statements drip with contempt for South Korea and the United States. She's threatened nuclear war, mocked American presidents, and defended her brother's brutal regime without apology. In January 2026, just weeks before her promotion, she dismissed South Korea's hopes for improved relations as an illusion. Yet, she's also pragmatic. She played a key role in the 2018 Olympics outreach. She was part of the working-level preparations for the Singapore and Hanoi summits with President Trump. She understands diplomacy even as she attacks it. She is experienced and seasoned researcher on Chan, told AFP. That experience makes her invaluable to her brother and potentially threatening to others. There's another woman in Kim Jong-un's life, Na-won, who may ultimately determine Kim Yo-jong's fate. His daughter, Kim Ro-ae. The teenage girl has appeared at major state functions in recent years, including a 2025 state visit to China. South Korea's National Intelligence Service has assessed that she's the heir apparent, the next leader of North Korea. That creates a delicate situation for Kim Yo-jong. For years, she was considered the primary backup, the person who could step in if something happened to her brother. Now, she's being eclipsed by a teenager. Analysts predict a potential power struggle down the road. Kim Yo-jong currently holds vast political and military support, but once Kim Ro-ae is formally elevated as heir, that support could shift. The future of Kim Yo-jong and her career may likely depend on the kind of relationship she builds over the next 5 years with Kim Yo-ae. On Chanil said, will she mentor her niece, guiding her toward leadership, or will she see the younger woman as a threat to her own power? In North Korea, family loyalty and political survival often conflict. Kim Jong-un executed his uncle. Kim Yo-jong has seen what happens to relatives who fall out of favor. She knows the stakes better than anyone. So what happened during those months in 2024? We may never know the full truth. North Korea's secrets are guarded more carefully than any nation on Earth. but we can piece together possibilities. Perhaps it was health-related. Perhaps she needed time away from the brutal schedule of public appearances. Perhaps it was political, a temporary demotion or reassignment that required her to stay out of sight. Perhaps it was personal family matters that no outsider has any right to know. Or perhaps it was something more sinister, a power struggle that she barely survived. A challenge to her position that she had to navigate carefully. The fact that she's now been promoted suggests that whatever happened, she emerged stronger. Kim Jong-un still trusts her. She's still at the center of power. But the disappearance itself, a silence, the speculation, the mystery reveals something important about North Korea. Even the most powerful people in the regime are not safe from uncertainty. Even the supreme leader's sister can vanish from view without explanation. The outside world can only watch and wonder. Today, Kim Yo-jong holds a position higher than ever. She's a department director, a Politburo member, and still one of the most influential women in the world's most secretive regime. She's been called the Princess of Pyongyang, the enforcer, the bad cop, and North Korea's official mouthpiece. But none of those labels captures the full complexity of who she is. She's a sister who's stood by her brother through assassinations, nuclear tests, and diplomatic failures. She's a propagandist who crafts the image of a god. She's a diplomat who's met with world leaders and a hardliner who's threatened to destroy them. She's a woman in a regime that treats women as property. Yet she holds power that most men in North Korea can only dream of. And she's a mystery, even now, with her promotion public. We don't know which department she runs. We don't know where she lives or how she spends her days. We don't know what she thinks about the future, her own, her niece's, or her country's. The disappearance may remain unexplained forever. North Korea doesn't answer to anyone. But one thing is clear. Kim Yo-jong isn't going anywhere. She survived whatever happened in 2024. She's been elevated, not pushed aside. And as her niece grows older and the succession question becomes more urgent, her role may become even more critical. The sister of the supreme leader. The aunt of the heir. The woman who runs North Korea from the shadows. She's been called many things, but one thing she'll never be is forgotten, no matter how hard the regime tries to hide her. On February 24th, 2026, as news of Kim Yo-jong's promotion spread around the world, life in Pyongyang continued, as always. The propaganda machines, the military, paraded. The supreme leader gave speeches about the next 5 years of progress. And somewhere in the capital, Kim Yo-jong began her new job. What that job entails, we don't know. Whether she appear in public again soon, we can't say. Whether she's planning for her niece's succession or protecting her own position, we can only guess. But one thing we've learned from her story. In North Korea, disappearance doesn't mean defeat. Sometimes, it's just the prelude to a comeback. Kim Yo-jong is still here. Still powerful. Still mysterious. And still keeping secrets North Korea doesn't want you to know.